So today we've got a Z32 Fairlady Z. This is an imported car from Japan, and the owner brought it right here without even taking it home, and decided to let us do our treatment to the car, which we've done. Marcus was nice enough to finish this car up. Upgraded turbos, fuel system, Haltech, everything that's needed to get this car up to standard for being here in the U.S., including the Haltech. So the Haltech allows us to adjust the fueling, which is imperative to these cars. If you have one of these, two things you really want to look at is the turbos and the ECU. The fuel system, very important also. So those things all together are going to allow this car to generate the best result for this environment. So we're going to run it up on the dyno right now. We're aiming for mid 300s. That's going to be a sweet spot for this car. Safe. The owner doesn't want to push for a lot of power. He just wants to have a fun time with the car. These cars come in stock with low 200 horsepower baselines. So this is over 100 horsepower more than the factory setup, which will be a nice boost in performance. Did we do it?
We did it.
That's it.
That's what we wanted.
That's what we wanted.
We're at like 350 horsepower. This is a pretty solid setup, very reliable for what it is. We've gotten rid of the factory turbos, which is the weak link in this, so you can run that 15 pounds booster more without worrying about destroying a wheel. And got the Haltech on board so that we're able to adjust for the US fuel rather than the Japanese setup that's in the factory ECU, and all of the supporting mods to go with it, downpipe, intake, everything. So this is a really nice little setup. It's going to feel really responsive. It's not going to be laggy. It's not going to be lethargic. It's going to enhance the already fun experience that the Z cars have to offer. So if you've got one of these cars, especially if it's a JDM model, make sure that you start with an ECU so that you can get all of the power out of it without having to worry about running a little bit lean. The US fuel has 15% ethanol in it, and that can make a 5 or 6% change in the fueling. So we don't want that. We want to make sure that we've got the right fueling for the setup. So Haltech lets us do that, and then the rest of the parts can sing. Another day, some more mods to the little tractor. Really having fun with this thing. So I did a couple of things to make this more usable at this point. One of the big annoying features with these is that the clutch and the brake are on the same pedal, and when you hit the clutch down, the brake engages. So you can't coast at all in gear or whatever. You know, you have to stop, and it stops very abruptly. So what I did was I separated the two. So down here, the mechanism which runs the clutch for the belt here has a bar that goes across, and it also actuates the brake, which is down here in the rear end. So what I did was I took the bar or the rod off of the rear end, and I put it to the PTO engagement, or what used to be the blade engagement right here. So now, instead of the same pedal running both, this one still does the clutch by itself, and now what used to be the blade engagement is now a handbrake, if you will. So this is a brake.
and I'll be able to coast, stop. If I'm on a hill or something, I can hold this and stop it, and then use the clutch as well. So this is a lot better than the factory configuration. If this was a mower still, it wouldn't matter, but now it's not a mower anymore, it's just a little tractor. So it's good to have that. We repurposed that lever as the brake. The only other lever I still have is the lever for the blade height, which is still here, but this is kind of cumbersome. I might try to fabricate some sort of device to, I don't know, engage with some kind of parking lock or something. I don't know. Either way, that's much easier to deal with, and it's going to make this tractor just a lot easier to manipulate and work with now that we're doing other stuff with it. So the next thing I think I'm going to try and do is, I don't like this seat. I don't like this high back. It kind of restricts, you know, where you move your weight around. So I might try to find like a flat pan or a pan seat that bolts onto this seat rack still. And then that way it'll give me a little more freedom of movement. Oh, I also added a strap to hold the battery down. But that'll give me a little more freedom of movement to shift the weight around depending on what we're going to do. Tires, I got some tires coming, so hopefully in this video they'll be here. We'll see. They should be here tomorrow. It's gonna be a two-part video. And then I want to make a hitch. Obviously the ball is not going to do it. I'm actually going to build some sort of a hitch. I'm going to make it a little bit higher up too, so we can get a little more leverage on the back end. I know that's going to make it pop a wheelie, but it's also going to put a lot more weight on the rear tires, which is where we need it because this is two-wheel drive. I tightened up the steering as well, so it's got a much tighter steering, straightened it up, did an alignment on it sort of. And so a couple little things. Also the muffler, I welded some bar onto the ends of the muffler because this thing was broken. I mean, it was just like popped out, leaking. So I welded the whole muffler, put some bar on the end to strengthen it. That should hold it. But other than that, we're about ready. Like I said, a hitch. We'll do like a triangular hitch, something up here with a reinforcement from the bottom. I don't know how strong this is, but it's pretty thick steel. It's not too bad. So it should be able to handle some abuse, especially if I triangulate it. So we'll do that, and then that way we'll have a hook up here, so it's a little higher than that low point down there. This low point down here is too low. You're gonna lose a lot of traction from not having that leverage. So it'll be up here instead, and it'll pull down on the rear end, which will give us a lot more traction. So cool, just a little update. Pulling something. Looked up the jet ski just to do a little test. No problem, just yanking it around the yard. Seems to be doing it pretty easily, so I'm doing good, but it's still worth the shot. No problem. First pulling test. Easy. All right, next mod. So I wanted to make a cool, like old-fashioned looking seat. So I went ahead and started looking at stuff that I had around the farm, and I found something that works perfect for the seat. I decided to use the shovel. So this is, I like it. This is the seat. I cut the handle and stuff off right here, and then just mounted it right up. Drilled a couple holes, no problem. Mounted right up, and it fits perfect. You actually, for me, it sits in pretty snug. You see the profile is really nice. I can get way back too over here, way further back than the old back. I can get all the way back here, put a lot of weight over the back. So that should help out quite a bit. So let me know what you guys think of that. New seat. Threw a little bit of paint on that seat. I think it looks really sharp now. Yeah. Literally sharp. Anyway, I'm happy with that. Next up, we're gonna tackle that hitch. See what I can figure out. If you have some ideas, let me know. I also added a spring to this, so the gear shifter is not flopping anymore. And now it goes down, and then back to neutral, and then back into reverse. So pretty cool. I like these gear selecting versions. It just feels, I don't know, it feels more tractor appropriate rather than having the hydrostatic. My bigger tractors have hydrostatic on them, and they're good, but I think this has some potential. Somebody had mentioned in the last video in the comments, they had mentioned to do a chain conversion to get rid of the belt, and that might actually be a possibility, because there are some centrifugal clutches that I think I could mount up here on the crankshaft, and then run a chain back. It'd be a pretty long chain though, so I don't know. I don't know if it's gonna be probably like a little bigger than a motorcycle chain for sure, but it might have some potential. We put a gear in the back, so, or a sprocket I should say, on the back. Either way, lots of potential for this little thing.